saying it's going live. Is this actually live? Have you heard what I've been saying for the past 2 minutes? I hope so. Can you guys see me right now? Okay, we are. Oh, that was weird. I've been talking for a hot minute. I had a whole funny introduction, but I don't know. Did it go through? Did you guys see that? Or was it all a waste? It was all in vain. Also, I should probably hide that. Pop this up a little bit bigger. There we are. See, I'm a professional streamer. You'd think at this point, after doing it for what, 5 years, we saw nothing. No, I had a whole funny introduction. Well, you know, I guess I'll just do that next week and pretend like it's original. But I should warn you. Oh, I did drink a lot of water right before the stream. You can feel it sloshing around. So at some point, unfortunately, because this is live, there's no way for me to edit out. I might need to correct that. But yes, hi Grace. Hey James. Hey Chris. How you doing, man? We've been going through it together. Is someone calling me? No, I guess not. That was weird. Cassidy, how you doing? I saw Lucy. Hey Lucy, it's been a hot minute. But we're still here. I'm still doing this. Not much has changed. And also, how are we feeling about this middle part situation I got going on? I'm kind of telling myself it's like a 90s Justin Timberlake, and not that I look like Manny from Ice Age. Hey Stefan, hey. Yes, so now the party can really begin. Yeah, so I'm still in this room, still quarantining, still dealing with the house having been flooded. And so everything has been shoved into this room, and I've just been living in it, which explains all of that mess, because I don't really have a floor. It's just all bed. It's just all bed, which in any other circumstance is heaven. But in this particular one, it's a little awkward. Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you are here in Chris's family room. Are you ready for a live stream? The issue on the table. I get you. I see. I hear you. I get your Hamilton references. See? There you go, Lucy. Really, nothing's changed since 2016. Still making Hamilton jokes because I still love Hamilton. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, Stefan, I am so sorry. Good luck. And Cass, oh, thank you. Yeah, it's got a little bit of swoop to it. You see that? Little bit of swoop. And I can do this. I'm still not used to this short hair. It feels really funny to like have feeling right here, but not right here. And I keep going to tuck it behind my ears when I like bend down to pick something up, and there's nothing there to tuck behind the ears. It stops just short of that. So that's still something I'm getting used to. Okay, but I've stalled for long enough. I guess I can address the elephant in the room, because not yesterday, last week I got a COVID test done just to be safe after attending my best friend for my whole life, my friend Andrew, his wedding and being his best man. And normally I would never have done anything like that. Like, I've had to turn down a couple, actually, marriage or wedding invitations this year. But he has been my best friend for my whole life, at least since I was 14, I think, and he was 13. And he like had me be his best man, and so I took a risk. And I was trying to be as smart as possible. Like, I had a double mask up and a face mask and a whole... I've already explained this, but I came back, and like the next day after coming back, I started to feel a little, like, my nose was a little stuffed up, and I had a very slight fever. And thankfully, my grandmother, who I live with, was planning on spending 2 weeks up in San Francisco just in case this happened. So I went and got tested, and got the results today. Your boy tested positive. So I did know the risks at first, and I have I have totally quarantined and made sure not that like nobody it was not spread to anybody. Which I've talked with a bunch of people that were at the wedding event, and they all did the same thing. So we made sure that the buck stopped here. Like, we don't want to be irresponsible, but yeah. And it's been, don't worry, I'm fine. Like, at this point, it's past, essentially. I believe I'm no longer contagious, and I haven't felt symptoms for more than 5 days. So I'm okay. Don't worry. I am very lucky in that I caught a very, very weak strain of it. And also, apparently, like, my immune system was better equipped to handle it than a lot of other people's. So I'm fine. Just to be 100% safe, even though the CDC says that you can interact with people again like 5 days after your symptoms go away, we're going to play it safe, and I'm going to wait 2 weeks. Just to be 100% safe. And that's just when my grandmother comes back down. Then I'm going to wait even longer to actually go out in public again. But yes, I'm totally fine. I've had cold, like, thankfully, I caught a very weak strain of it, and also, apparently my immune system was better equipped to handle it than a lot of my friends who also had caught it were. They experienced it a lot worse than I did, which was funny because some of them were, like, totally asymptomatic and still tested positive, versus others got it very bad. And we can't quite figure out a rhyme or reason, but that fact right there makes me even more grateful that I managed to catch a very weak strain. So I'm fine. Still going to be incredibly cautious, because just because I caught a weak strain doesn't mean there aren't more intense strains, right, waiting for me. So I'm still going to be incredibly cautious from now on. Absolutely wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands. But yes. Oh, hi, Evita. Yeah, thank you. I didn't think you could have caught it with all the cautions you've been. Yeah, I mean, it's really friggin' contagious, and that's the whole danger of it, right? Like, thankfully, like, I caught it even with all of those precautions, but it didn't affect me very bad, but it could very easily spread from me to somebody that would handle it a lot worse. So that's why I've been very, very locked down, not just in the house, but in this particular room. But I'm fine. I'm past it. It's gone. It shouldn't be contagious anymore in me. I haven't felt symptoms for almost a full week straight, and it's probably not going to have a second wave. So I'm fine. I got word I can come out of isolation today, but I'm going to be extremely careful. Yeah, same, Chris. I did. What's funny, okay, so, fun story. I got a call today from the Los Angeles Department of Health. Just asking, like, who I've been in contact with over the past, like, 14 days, right? Or where I've been. Now, it's been over 14 days since I started quarantining. So, I told her the whole, like, story and situation, but she was like, well, technically, I don't really need to follow up on a lot of this stuff, because the people that you mentioned, it's been over 2 weeks, and so, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's great. Hey, Allison! I'm glad you're okay, but man, that's scary. Yeah, I'm very, very, very grateful that I had it had such a minimal impact on me. And that's not a reason, let me just say this, just because it had a very minimal impact on me does not mean that it will have a very minimal impact on you. So, I really don't want this to be a situation where somebody could see this and be like, oh, well, he got it and he was fine, so it's really not a big deal. No, I was very lucky in that I got a very weak strain of it, and or I had not nearly as much exposure to it, so I did not get as much of it in me. But please, if anything, with all of the precautions, like, I still caught it, so let this be even more of a warning. If you were in Calgary, Alberta, you can go out after 10 days after being tested positive. So yeah, fun fact, because it took so long for me to get tested, like, it hasn't been 10 days since I tested positive, but it's been, like, long enough where I shouldn't have it anymore, or it shouldn't affect me anymore. So again, I'm fine. I just want to keep repeating this, and it won't spread. I'll make darn sure of that the buck stops here, for my own conscience, as well as just trying to make the world a not as terrible place. Cass. Look, there are people on the internet, okay? Not you, like, not this group here, but there are definitely people that would see somebody having it affecting someone very minorly, and, I don't know. I don't want that. You think about, like, what kind of impact are you having on the world? And yes. Believe me, I've been on the phone with the place that tested me in my county health service several times this week about my condition. Oh man, like, I just had one phone call. You had apparently a very much more intense conversation. Maybe because it impacted you much. Like, from what we've talked about, Chris, as far as I understand, it impacted you a lot more than it impacted me. So that might explain it. I don't really know. I don't know exactly how the health department works, but I just tried to answer their questions as honestly and truthfully as possible. And thankfully, just privately, I vlogged, like, some of the experience, and so when she would ask me questions, I had video footage to go back and watch and actually answer. Like, what was the original conditions, and everything worked well. She's fine. If you were one of those people that she said, like, it's been long enough where none of them are contagious, and I told her, like, everybody that I'm aware that was there has been quarantining for the past 2 weeks. And so she's, like, it's not going to be like, you're not going to receive a call from the LA County Health Department. She said, like, okay, that's fine. But, I would follow that joke up with, we have COVID at home, but I'd rather not. Oh, no. No! So yeah. That's been the whole thing. Although you want to hear... Come on. Camera, come back. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. You want to hear the most stereotypical California thing? I did tell the health department worker that I was on the phone with, like, this happened in North Carolina. And, like, the infection point was not in California. It was in North Carolina, and I'm the only person out of that group that returned to California. And she was like, oh, cool. And she was like, this is gonna sound harsh, but that's North Carolina's problem. And we only care about you. Like, they only care about California. And I know what she meant, right? She's the Los Angeles County of Health, not like the country center of health. But also, what a stereotypical Californian thing to say, right? Screw the South. We only care about California. Yeah. 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 We now have reached the routine part of the stream where Chris breaks the camera. You're right, and it'll probably happen in another 30 minutes. So look forward to that at, 7:40-ish? 7:45? 7:50? So yeah, there's, like, the big event that has happened this week was me confirmed testing positive for COVID. Now, I will say, oh yeah, and Chris, yes, you did. And I'm very grateful for that, and that was really cool of you. So I do really appreciate that you did text me about a possible exposure, and we see how that turned out. So I really, good on you for doing that, and I'm very thankful that you did. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I also did the test. I didn't talk about that. You know, I said earlier this week, right? Technically last week. I did mention that, I believe, on my Thursday stream because I got tested on Wednesday, and I don't see why I wouldn't have mentioned it on stream, but it was not nearly so. You want the story of my actual COVID test? Yes, I am exploiting everything in my life for content. So I had set up the appointment. It finally rolls around. I'm sorry, did I say it happened on Wednesday? It definitely happened on Tuesday. I know, it took almost a full week for the results to come in. Right? It was Tuesday, right? I believe it was Tuesday. So yeah, I walk up because thankfully the place that had the testing was within walking distance to my house because I'm not taking public transport when I could have COVID. So I did the whole, like, the same thing I wore at the airport. I wore an N95 mask and then a black Target cloth mask over that, and then a face shield just to be extra safe. Walk over there, and they do the nose swab thing. Wait, can I? Is this gonna work? I think so. Yeah. They did the nose, the swab thing where they take the test tube thingy, put it up your nostril, and then shove it way up there. And then, like, you had to hold that for like 15 seconds. Crap. that destroyed the illusion. They took it, right? And then they shoved it up there. And then you had to hold it for like 15 seconds, and then they pulled it out, and then they switched over to the other nostril, and they did the same thing, and it didn't feel as bad as I was expecting it to. It felt like someone sticking something up your nose. Like, it felt exactly how you're imagining it would feel. And let me tell you what, it cleared out this boy's sinuses. Like, from that moment on, my stuffy nose was gone. I don't know how that happened, but like within 5 minutes because it was stuffed up before, I made a joke to the lady, like, sorry you got, a heaping scoop full of snot with your COVID there. And she laughed, although probably out of pity more than genuinely thinking that was funny. That's not a funny joke. But immediately after that, my nose totally cleared up, and it's been cleared up since. You hear that? That is the sound of air going in both nostrils, which is a blessing, let me tell you what. That is one of those things that you don't realize how incredible it is until you don't have it. Okay, well, apparently I just had a terrible test because it took like 15 seconds, and then it took almost a week for me to get my results. Yo, Holton, hey! Oh, geez. In the mandatory one I took at school, they literally cleaned out my nostrils. It was funny, though, because then, I said it instantly cleared out my nostrils. It did have this weird side effect, though, where I constantly could, it felt like I don't know if it's just I'm not used to there being something in my nose, and my brain didn't know how to interpret that, but it constantly felt after that like I was just on the verge of having a nosebleed. Like, I would, almost smell blood and be like, oh boy, here we go, I can feel something in my nose, and then just nothing ever happened. Like, I could... And I there was obviously no blood in my nose. I guess my brain just didn't know how to interpret there's been something up and it touched inside. That's not right. I also got this weird little pimple thing right there. That's annoying. But yeah, so that's a complete and total update of... I thought this was supposed to be a nice chill hangout. Okay, you're right, called out. That was a little bit gross. You want to know something a lot nicer, a lot more chill? It felt like lots of chlorine was in my nose. Yeah, I guess that's a good way. Yeah, that's actually a good way to describe it too. Yeah, like a burning. It wasn't necessarily. It was definitely not unbearable, but it was unpleasant. But it wasn't. I guess I was just expecting and bracing myself for terrible, like, pain and suffering, and it wasn't as bad as I was setting it up to be in my head. If that makes any sense. Yes. Also, I'm just really happy lately because there's an expression in, like, the camera world where it's like the first thing you do when you get a piece of equipment is RTFM. If you're ever having technical difficulties, first step, RTFM, which stands for read the friggin' manual, except it doesn't mean friggin'. And I realized I had never done that with my audio recorder. A lot of people use a Zoom. I use a Tascam because I'm just different. Which looks, I'm sorry, I'm going to get a little bit technical here. But this is what it looks like. So my microphone plugs into there, and it just records the audio. It's not being used right now because I'm directly feeding the audio into the computer, versus this records it onto an SD card. But this bad boy takes AA batteries. And so for the past 5 years, I've had a pair of rechargeable batteries in here that I just charge every night before I film. Problem is, this, it's been a while, and rechargeable batteries are expensive, so I've just been using the same ones, especially when I travel. But then, like, this sucker, because I have to use phantom power on the mic, which essentially means the batteries, in addition to charging and powering the recorder device, they also have to charge and power my microphone, like literally give power to my microphone. So these suckers die after every video I film. And this has just been something I've lived with for so long, for 5 years. And I just yesterday learned that you can just plug it in via the USB input right there, and it'll just use power from that. And you can also, you don't need to do this every time, because I only have one SD card slot on my computer. So I've just been like importing my audio, ejecting the card, putting it back, grabbing the video, putting in the card, ejecting the card. Like, I don't need to do any of that. I can literally just plug this in via a long USB cable into my computer, never have to touch it again, never have to worry about batteries again, never have to worry about, like, I can transfer the audio and the video at the same time. And then, get this right, the best part is this has a way to automatically sync up with the video that I record with my camera. It will automatically sync up for me. I don't need it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just really excited because the manual also said if you're using this in connection with a DSLR for like a YouTube video-esque. It didn't necessarily say that, but that was like the vibe they were going for. You can like have an aux cable coming from the headphone out into the camera in. So then what it will do is be recording high quality audio onto the SD card, and then also be sending an audio like preview, a very high quality audio preview into the camera itself. And it will also include like a little sync beep beep. You know, like when you watch a movie and they have the slate in the beginning, they go like marker scene 41, take 6, and action, click. So the reason that they do that little, or you'll see a bunch of YouTubers clap, is essentially because on the audio waveform, you'll see a little spike right when the clap happens. It's a very, very loud but very short sound. And then you can sync up when you align the audio that comes from the video that comes from your camera to the audio that comes from this. You can physically see the two lines and just line them up. And then the rest is automatically guaranteed to be like in sync. But it automatically does it for you. I'm sorry. Have I accidentally been spitting? I'm so sorry. Someone said aux cable, and here comes Ryan. This is really cool to me. And it's so wild that it's like I've been using this equipment for 5 years and didn't know that it could do this. Just like how I just recently learned, I'm probably not going to use it anytime, but my camera has this automatic HDR mode where it will vary the ISO. It will vary how sensitive the camera is to light every 30th of a second, every other frame. So one frame, it'll expose for the shadows like this. You can see all of the detail behind me. And then the very next frame, it will get a much darker frame like this so that you can see all of the details in my face and it's not blown out. And then it will combine them. And so it's one video. The end result is one video that has a much higher, what's called dynamic range, aka you can see a lot more in the shadows and on the face. I've had this camera, granted, only for like 2 years now, I think, but I just never read the manual, so I did not know that it could do that. Also, I realized the firmware for this was like 4 years out of date, so that was cool. I upgraded the firmware and got a couple new features from this. And so I celebrated this momentous occasion that genuinely felt like I got a new device by finally peeling off the protective plastic that had been on the screen for 5 years. Almost every day I have looked at this screen and there was a piece of protective plastic over it, and I just never removed it because I had never removed it. Does that make sense? There was no reason. It just made the screen harder to see because it was peeling and bubbling and kind of yellowing. But it was like, oh, I've left it on for so long. I can't take it off now. But I finally celebrated and rewarded myself. So yes, I'm a huge Evan Edinger fan. And he has really, over the past year or so, put an effort into really learning and perfecting his video quality. Like, not just, it's like genuinely trying to get the absolute maximum and know his gear front to back. And I used to have a much more solid, when I was really into photography, I was kind of forced to really learn everything that I could about photography. And then I started making YouTube videos and I got complacent. And suddenly it's been 5 years and I've literally just used my camera the exact same way for 5 years. Same settings, never really thought to change them. And so I'm changing that. Ryan, oh shoot, I think I need to peel off my plastic. That's hilarious. Hi Hannah, I'm so glad I didn't scare you off in that game of Among Us. We played Among Us and I got really, really into it. I don't know if you've noticed, I get passionate sometimes. And I legit was worried that like, oh no, was I too loud and like, so nope, we're good. At least I hope we're good. Also, if you ever want to play Among Us, please let me know. I love that game. I'm obsessed with that game and I just want to play it all of the time. I'm not very good at it, but I can be loud. And, you know, what's the difference? So, yeah, essentially what I was saying with Evan Edinger. Like, this past week, especially while I've been so incredibly quarantined, I have nothing but this camera equipment, really. So I've really been trying to learn as much as I can. It's been so long, I finally realized I don't have a gray card. If you're wondering, this is a gray card. I'm sorry, I'm gonna nerd out. Just let it happen. You might be wondering, this doesn't look special. It's just a collapsible little thing that looks kind of gray. The whole point of this is the way that, okay, am I really gonna get into, I'm sorry. This is the nerd. This is incredibly nerdy. Please indulge my little nerdy heart. The way that a camera works is, to a camera, everything should be 18% gray. It should look like this all of the time. It should be this brightness and roughly color. This color right here should reproduce as a specific shade of gray. So it makes everything so much easier to set the settings if you literally have a thing that is the exact shade and like brightness that the camera wants to see. You can tell the camera, this right here is exactly 18%. This is what you want. This looks like how you think it does. So then once the camera knows that, it can adjust everything else. It can adjust the white balance and it can adjust the brightness to be pretty technically correct. Now, obviously, from there, you can change it to be a little bit more like artistic if you're going for a more warmer vibe or a cooler or like colors or anything. Bye, Lucy. It was awesome to see you again. But that's like essentially the thing. You'll notice, especially over the past like 6 months or so, I've gotten really lazy with my white balance, and every video looked different. So now, hopefully, I hope this like I've really tried to this week put like a lot more effort into this lighting that's on my face and to get it to be actually white, because I'm using light bulbs that were not designed for video. I'm using cheap light bulbs from the hardware store, because right now I can't quite afford a really high quality set of lights. But so this light has a cast to it. The light is not actually white. It's a little bit yellow and a little bit green. But when I told the computer to just reproduce this as 18% gray, it corrected those two problems. Or not necessarily corrected, but dealt with them. So yes, hopefully I look a lot better right now, and my goal, for one thing, is to get rid of, you see that annoying little glare? Where is it? You can see it best if I do this. You see these right here? This is reflection from the room light that I have on, because otherwise it'd be incredibly dark in here. Now, hello, Siri. I know you're here. That's a little bit creepy. So, my next goal is to get rid of that. And the best way to do that, unfortunately, because I don't have any of my equipment because everything flooded, so I only have access to what I have access to in this room. But I do have access to some paper. So I could rig up a little bit of a lens hood and essentially just put a piece of paper over the top of the lens, which should block that reflection. You see this? It's gone, it's there, it's gone, it's there. If you've ever wondered why big movie cinema cameras have that weird like box around the lens, that is why. Because it's just the way that physical like light works through a lens, there is going to be glare. So if you can reduce, anytime light hits from like any kind of the side, anything that's not direct center, there's going to be some form of glare, and you can do your best to correct it, but at the end of the day, it's just physics, it's optics. So what you can do is block any light from hitting the lens that is not directly within like the line of sight of what the camera is seeing. So in essence, if you're watching a movie and there's like a very tight close-up on someone's face, then if there happens to be a light that's like lighting the side of his face from the side, you're not going to see like this. If you can block that, then you get the effect on his face or her face, but you don't get the glare. So that's the purpose of those big boxes around like camera movie lenses. Especially from the sun. The sun is a killer when it comes to this. So, there you are. There's a little bit of nerding out. I'm sorry, Amy. Wow, everybody's here. But there's your camera nerding. There's always got to be. It's been a hot minute, but it's just been welling up deep inside. So, there you are. Anywho, that was a lot of talking, and I kind of do have to let's just say that water that I drank has been working its magic. So if you'll excuse me, I am going to be right back. What's your real quick, just to answer Hannah's question. What's your opinion on purposeful lens glare? I love it. I am a sucker for lens flare, but mostly only lens flare that is coming from a source that you can see, right? Because right now the problem is you can't see this light that's giving that glare right there. It's not in view. If it was in view, it could look more artistic. And also just like, I love artistic looking things. So like if that's your goal, then 1000% go for it. but I feel like if you can't see the source, it just looks amateurish and bad. Just bad. Okay, I'm going to actually go use the restroom. I'll be right back. Woo! That was quick. Just kidding. This is pre-filmed, pre-recorded because I just drank a whole lot of water right before starting the stream, which is the time that it is right now. In my time, in your time, it is during the stream when that stream of water decided to stream out. So this is a pre-recorded bit. I'm doing this a lot or a little bit. That didn't rhyme because I'm doing this on the spot. Nothing was prepared for this. There was no thought. This is a really stupid idea. Why am I doing this? I'm just buying time right now because when you're live, right, you can't just edit out the random bathroom bits because you were really not the thinker and chugged a lot of water right before a stream, which means I'm very hydrated right now. And by right now, I mean your time, which is like 7-something p.m. Pacific time, my time, and not like the 6:30 that it is for me right now recording this ahead of time. So you can like say, you can try and comment, you can say whatever you want, and I cannot see them. I can't read them. I'm sorry. I'm sure they're scrolling right there, or maybe on that side. I'm not sure exactly how OBS is going to, where I put the comments again. I think it's on that side. Yeah, see, there they are. Definitely. If I'm wrong, there's some egg on my face. Okay, it's been like a minute and a half. Surely this isn't gonna keep going on. Surely Chris is gonna cut this off. He's just gonna cut me off at any point because he's done, right? It doesn't take him this long. In fact, doesn't it usually take pretty much most, like all mammals, just 20... Isn't that a thing? Like, no matter how large an animal is, no matter how physically large their bladder is, your entire internal, like, piping works out where actually going only takes about 20 seconds. Isn't that a thing? Can someone back me up on that? I thought I read that on, like, Mental Floss or something back in 2014? Remember when... do you remember Mental Floss? That was, like... Didn't they get bought out? But wasn't it originally like Hank and John Green's thing? I could be misremembering that. I'm really stalling for time at this point. In fact, I'm almost certainly back. It's been 2.5 minutes. It's almost been 3 minutes. There's no way it is taking Chris this long to use the restroom, wash his hands, because please wash your hands. It really does a lot. And has made his way back here. In fact, he definitely has, and I guess instead of deciding to cut me off at any point, he was merciful and took pity upon past Chris and decided to let me finish getting all of my thoughts out before the inevitable march of time means that this moment that is being recorded and this particular version of Chris with all of his thoughts and experiences that are happening right now and not the Chris 30 minutes in the future with all of those thoughts and experiences and reactions to what you've said or just the general experience of being live. He hasn't killed me yet, essentially is what I'm saying. So I guess I'm going to go ahead now and let him get back to what he was doing. So, you know what, future Chris, thanks for letting me talk this long, and now I'll let you get back to doing your thing. Au revoir, bonsoir, and I'll see you in about 30 minutes. Woo! Gotta refill the old tank. Oh my gosh. Also, who was it? Grace said he's probably just waiting for a dramatic entrance. I really was. Oh my gosh, that took me so much less time than I expected it to be. Sponsors take note. Chris could do this for you. So fun fact, while I was at or post-wedding, I stayed in a hotel because I wanted to be alone just in case I did contract COVID at the place and didn't notice any symptoms, which in the end turns out was really the case. Excuse me. I filmed a little video there, which didn't end up going anywhere. I wasn't happy with how it turned out. But at the time, I was like, hey, I made a little joke in it about, hey, sponsors, I would love to actually, I won't mention the name of the hotel I'm staying at, but you know who you are, and if you want to contact me, I wouldn't say no to more hotel stays in the post-COVID world. So, yes. I was not expecting that. It actually scared me at first. My proudest moment right there. Prepping for another spot from past Chris in 30 minutes. Oh my gosh. Ah! There it is! Oh my gosh! We were warned! In, what did I say? 30 minutes at 7:45. Or whenever, which... Okay, it's 2 minutes before. I was close. Yeah, the foretold prophecy came true. Drink water, kids. Hydrating is the most important thing. So, also, one thing that's been a little bit frustrating, while, you know, the house is totally destroyed and I can only do with things that are in this room, is the fact that part of growing up is, you know, your parents had the cable box. Part of an essential step on the rung of ladder of life is the day that you create your own cable box. I have a cable box, and I have so many cables in there. And so many of them are necessary. Like, for example, the cable that plugs this directly in to the wall so I don't need to charge the batteries every time. I have the cable that it takes. It requires a simple USB. Look at that. It's like a very standard USB cable, right? Guess where it is? Not easily accessible in this room. So, you know what else I don't have the cable for? This laptop. You might recognize this. This is my old laptop, and it's still growing strong. I use it as I put Linux on it, and I'm setting it up as a home server just so I have access to my like photos and videos no matter where I go. But you know what? Was not saved with it? The charger. So it's dead. And that's hilarious. And also it has Hamilton references right there and there. And also, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff. Dan and Phil, Odd Ones Out, more Dan and Phil, more Dan and Phil. You know what? I like Dan and Phil still. Speaking of water, I broke my glass water bottle the other day. I took it as an opportunity to get a hydro flask. If that's not a relevant joke anymore. What am I saying? Do you have another cord for it somewhere? I don't. In fact, I didn't even have the cord for a hard drive for me to put all of my footage on after I got back from this trip. So I had to repurchase separately the cable that connects the hard drive to the computer and then the power cable for it, which sucks. I've had to spend money on cables that I already have, and I know where they are, but they're locked and I don't have the key to get in. So it's a bummer, man. It's a bummer. Dan is writing a book. I know. I'm so excited for it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not going to nerd out about another thing. But I want to. I want to nerd. I'm very excited about that. Am I too loud? I'm totally blowing out your eardrums. I'm sorry. Don't you dare at me, Cali boy. I'm sorry. Should I do the the Venice Beach Surfer? I don't have the hair for that anymore. I don't have the hair. Do the nerding and don't apologize. My entire life is just one nerd out after another. I did take the opportunity when that pee break video was playing to go ahead and shut the windows because I hadn't shut them before. Sorry, neighbors. But I just had flashbacks to my students all day long. Right? Oh, Sarah! Hey! Long time no see! By long time, I mean a week. How you doing? Nerding is a wonderful thing, though. It is, and it's my life, and it feels really good to finally get out all of this stuff and to talk about something that you're really passionate about, and so to talk about it passionately. I love it! I love it! That's why I make videos, is because it's fun. It's so fun. Ryan can back me up on this. Isn't it fun to make videos? Same though I can nerd out about so many topics. It's just, it's, I don't know what it is, but it's just something so incredibly intrinsically human. And it's fantastic because different people can nerd out about different things, and that's what makes things work, right? The big jigsaw puzzle. Everybody has the piece that they fit into. And it's super cool, man. It's super cool. It's fun to film. I hate editing. You right. Oh, also, speaking of things I can nerd out about, you want one final nerd out? Because I would love to talk about editing software. Because I'm going to try and refilm, or film and edit this, not this week's video, because I've already edited a lot of it, but next week's video in a different editing program than the one I use. I've been using Final Cut. I was using Premiere for 4 years. And the reason that I could do that was because I was getting the educational discount, because I was and when I first started, I had just graduated high school and was planning on attending college there in North Carolina. So I signed up for the student discount and then never actually went to college then. So once my 4 years of the student discount had ran out, I switched over to Final Cut because it was a one-time purchase. And I couldn't afford the $50 a month. But lately, I'm not sure why, Final Cut has been incredibly slow for me. Agonizingly. I click a button and it takes 4 to 5 seconds, and I'm not exaggerating, I have timed it to register that I've clicked the mouse. And that is incredibly frustrating. It takes me so much longer to edit a video, and I get so much more frustrated. You may have noticed lately that my videos have been a lot shorter than they used to be, and part of that's just because I'm screw adding the fluff to make it over 10 minutes long. Screw that, I don't care, I just want to make good videos. But also part of that is just because I can't bear to edit any longer than that. I don't know how YouTubers make 30-minute, 45-minute, 2-hour long videos. So I've been trying out DaVinci Resolve, which is a free editing program from DaVinci, which is a movie, or movies are made. Granted, it's more of a color correction and color grading program than specifically editing video, but it has a video editor in it, and it's free, and it's cross-platform, which is incredibly important to me because I have a Mac right now, but I can't guarantee I always will, and so it would be nice to have the knowledge and be able. I would love to be able to edit anywhere on anything, not be dependent even on my own equipment. But if I'm at somebody's place, I can't install macOS on their device. Woo. So yes, I've really been trying to watch as many tutorials and learn as much as I can about the program, and there's so much to it. It's a lot more like Premiere, which is really neat, but at this point I'm so used to editing on Final Cut's magnetic timeline that having to relearn how to edit in a traditional non-magnetic timeline, I have to like relearn that. So yes, that was that was my other final nerd out there. There it is. I'm done nerding out. It's all out. And I feel good. You know, it's like a big release of all of this nerdy stuff that I've been holding in for like a month, but especially, oh, bye Yovita, thanks for hanging out. But especially because like this week, right, I've had not nearly as much to do as I normally do. So this is just all that I've been focusing on. And it's really cool to learn all of this new stuff. And also it's good to like prep my brain for college again, because I got more classes coming up. Joy, joy, joy. More classes. That's right. So I really want to prep for that. And I can think of no better way than this. Casey Neistat and I have one thing in common. We hate learning new editing programs. Yeah, it's just like, I feel like at this point, most of the top ones are designed with a different mental flow in your head. And you just have to accept that. And I was using Premiere's workflow and got really used to that. And so it's a very big mental shift with Final Cut, but I finally made it, and now like that makes a lot of sense, and I can edit really fast in Final Cut. But DaVinci, I really want to say DaVinci. Yes, I know. Who commented it? Yes, Cassidy. You were the one that said DaVinci, and I can't. I saw you comment that, and then that's every time I've said DaVinci in my mind. DaVinci? So it's just something that like you have to because DaVinci is more about like specific, you do things in an order. Like you collect all of your media together and sync it all up. Then you put it on the time, or then you like cut what parts of the video you want, and then you put it onto the timeline, and then you add effects, and then you color grade everything, and then you export. Like that's the workflow, and that's not the workflow that I'm used to. I'm used to, with Final Cut, at least, I start at the beginning. I like import the video, put it in the beginning of the timeline, and then make my way. But I only do everything in one pass. Versus DaVinci, I almost said it there too, is very much designed for multi-pass. You trim, you like spend you go through the entire video just cutting everything. You go through the entire video, then adding the effects. Then you go through the entire video and do this other thing. And yeah, so it's just getting my mind used to that when it's so used to everything. You just do everything in one pass, and once you reach the end of the video, the outro, then you can export it, right? Like I add the captions, something that has saved me so much time, because I've started like adding captions to my videos, which takes a long time unless you do it as you go. Like every individual cut generally is a sentence, and so you just quickly type out what you said after your first listen to, or once you cut out, realize that's the take of the sentence that you want, then you just type out what it is, and then you're done. And it's not like afterwards you have to spend 4 hours writing every word that was in the video. It's like doing the dishes when you're baking. But oh my gosh, my voice is starting to hurt. I said I wasn't gonna nerd out, and then here we are, nerding out about workflows. That's pretty nerdy. And it's just going to be weird to have to mentally, like, once I am trimming in the timeline and I reach the end, to then say, no, Chris, you're not done. You have to go all the way back to the beginning, watch it all the way again, and now add like the zoom ins or transitions or like titles or any effects or anything. Sound effects is a big one. It's just you got to change your workflow in your mind, the way that you picture doing things. It's like if you had a recipe that you've made every day for like years, and one day you decide to try a different variation of the recipe, like to, a different mac and cheese recipe. And you just have to like unlearn, or temporarily at least, unlearn the ways that feel so natural to you. I hope that made sense, especially to non like anybody that doesn't really care about this. I'm sorry that I've gone on for so long about it, but it is something that's really important to me and it makes me really happy and excited, and I just want to release that and get that out and like give you a little bit of, I don't know, excitement about it. Yeah. So I've gone this long without saying I hope that you have a good day tomorrow. If you are going to go out and vote in person, please be very safe when you do it. Please wear a mask. Please social distance to the best of your ability. Please wash your hands when you get home, because I'm sure that the voting machines or the pen that you use will you might want to sanitize. And if you've already voted from home, good job, congratulations. And yeah, no matter what happens, we're in this, and it's gonna be an experience. So, fun nerd times. Good. Oh, thank you. So, yeah, I'm trying. I hope that I could explain some things in a more easy to follow way. Y'all stay wiped. You'll need to be for tomorrow. I'll see you all on Thursday, maybe if you're free. Thursday at 7 p.m. I play the game Pokemon Emerald, which is a childhood favorite, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. And if not, see you next Monday, same time, same place. Neither rain nor snow nor sleet nor hail, but nothing in the world can stop the live stream. Look, it's been like 4 years, okay? This is as much a part of my life as, I don't know, Friday night pizzas. So yes, we're all in this together. And I will see you next week. We live through tomorrow for the sake of the Thursday stream. That's right, do it for Thursday. And in the meantime, remember, stay wiped. That still makes me chuckle. And stay positive. Boom. Love you. Bye. Yes, stay positive in attitude, not COVID.